What is going on, everybody? Today we are at the Utah International Auto Expo. We're going to check out some new cars and review some of the latest models. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is the all-new 2023 Dodge Hornet, and it's brand new here for 2023. They've never had this model before, although they've used that nameplate on previous vehicles, just never in a subcompact crossover. And the question I have, which I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, is does this vehicle stand up to the Dodge brand name? You know, one that's known for ultra high performance, high horsepower, muscle cars, and everything from the Dodge Chargers, Challengers, even the Durango. Well, that's what I'm going to be trying to answer in today's video. The first thing I want to address is the powertrain, because when it comes to that, it does actually kind of stand up to the Dodge name. There's two trim options available, the GT and the RT. The GT comes with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that produces 268 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and you get standard all-wheel drive, which is not something you always get with the competitors. Now, that's pretty good horsepower figures considering this is a subcompact crossover. I mean, the competition in this same segment is like the Honda HR-V, the Hyundai Kona, and those do not offer the same type of power options. When you talk about the power for a vehicle of this size, that is pretty similar to what other Dodge vehicles offer. Now, the second option is an RT, which is a plug-in hybrid version that actually has a pretty interesting powertrain. You're looking at a 1.3-liter 4-cylinder engine that produces 288 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque with a 15-kilowatt battery. Now, that is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission, and all-wheel drive is standard again. Now, you do get 30 miles of all-electric range if you do get the RT. That is pretty unique and different because, again, for a vehicle of this size, not even vehicles larger than this size like the Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V have this same type of power. So that is pretty impressive and very similar to other Dodge models. Now, there is going to be a third trim level called the GLH, which is a goes like hell, and that is a nameplate used in previous vehicles as well, previous Dodge brands, I believe from the 1980s. And we don't really know the power specs for that vehicle, but it'll be interesting to see. This over here, like you can see on the screen, is the GT. So this is the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. And, you know, the one thing that I will complain about with this vehicle is the exterior styling. I really like how it looks, but this thing shares the exact same components and subframe as the Alfa Romeo Tonale, which this is kind of the same family. You know, this is all under Stellantis's brand. And the one complaint I have with that is this thing looks great as an Alfa Romeo, but I'm not sure if it really matches the Dodge brand because, you know, this thing just doesn't look as aggressive as some of the other Dodge vehicles like the Challenger over there in the back. So that is one thing that I will complain about it, although it is a good looking vehicle. If you slapped an Alfa Romeo badge on it, you know, I wouldn't have really any complaints. This vehicle is built in Italy, and so keep that in mind because the interior does have very, very similar Alfa Romeo traits. So starting off with the door panel, this is a rubberized soft touch material. Door panel is pretty simple overall. You do have a Harman Kardon audio system here. The seats do look pretty nice. They are leather wrapped, and I know some trim levels have a little bit of red accents in here as well. And then jumping inside, you do have a very similar Alfa Romeo styled steering wheel. You do have a sport mode over here. On the left hand side is your cruise control. Right hand side is how you control this display. And this is really unique for this vehicle. So you do have a 10.3 inch touchscreen over here, which is standard on all models, and a 12.3 inch all digital instrument gauge cluster display. Now, unfortunately, this vehicle is a display model. There's no power to it, but I did want to show off that that is standard, which again, the competition like the HR-V, the largest you can get in that is, I believe, a 9-inch touchscreen. So this is already larger than that. You do have a lot of Alfa Romeo like switchgear over here, and they feel really good. They're plastic, but you know, they've got a little bit of resistance to them, and I like this kind of, you know, toggle switch type style to it. Looks really nice. You do have push button start. You do have a wireless charging pad over here with 2 USB ports. Moving further back, you've got your gear selector. You do have your volume controls. You do have a parking brake as well. You do have your parking sensors down here, and then a center arm console, which is kind of small, but again, this is a subcompact SUV or crossover. 2 cup holders, and there's a look at what the passenger side looks like. The vents look pretty cool, but now let's jump into the second row. Okay, jumping back here, a little bit tight in terms of legroom, but this seat is moved pretty far back, so this is pretty common amongst subcompact crossovers. You do have 2 air vents back there with USB ports, and then this one does not have a sunroof, but I believe you can get that as an option. The design of the seats look pretty nice overall, and I would say the interior looks pretty good for a vehicle at this price point. Now, speaking of price point, the Dodge Hornet starts at $30,590 and goes up from there. So my question is, does this live up to the Dodge brand name? name, or would you rather have some sort of sports sedan or muscle car in its fleet instead of a subcompact crossover? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all of the weekly car videos. Also, check me out on all the social media down in the description below at Schwazy_. And until next time, everybody, I hope you stay Schwazy, stay healthy, have a wonderful day.